The video you are about to watch was made for entertainment purposes only. The views and opinions expressed in this video are those of the content creators themselves and should not be taken personally. So sit back and enjoy.
Hola, it's Guacamole Gonzalez, and I'm partying because it's Cinco de Mayo, and I'm going with my friends to a great place tonight. Guacamole.
They let the people off the boat! All right, so save this for whenever 2 years from now we can look back on it on the other side of Pandemic 2.0. Gas is $4.39 a gallon. But they let the people off the boat. Why did they let the people off the boat? Anybody who's played Plague Inc. knows that the lethality is way too high and the infection rate is way too low on this thing. So hopefully it stuffs out quick. Apparently we're getting UFOs too. I don't know, man. I don't think I have another, global crisis in me. And I'm not trying to fearmonger or anything like that, but if this one's anything like the last one, y'all better buy your cars soon.
Hey, so this summer when we're all locked down again in the next pandemic, because let's be real, we know what's happening. What are we doing? Are we learning sourdough again? I didn't learn it the first time around. I'm interested this time. I'm really not looking to learn some TikTok dances, but I will. I mean, if that's what we're collectively going to do. But let's see. Let me know. What are we going to do?
Another in Arizona, and an undisclosed number of people in California. Health departments in all of these states telling NBC News that the former passengers whose identities are being withheld are not showing any symptoms. Texas explaining that the passengers have agreed to monitor themselves for symptoms with daily temperature checks. The other states declining to share how the passengers are being monitored. We asked each state if those passengers are quarantining. 4 would not answer that question. Arizona saying the person there is not isolating.
We officially have an update. The virus on the cruise ship just got confirmed to be the one strain that can spread person to person. And a passenger who left the ship early just tested positive in Switzerland. So the virus on that cruise ship is now officially confirmed to be the Andes strain of hantavirus, which is the only strain in history that has ever been able to spread between humans. And a passenger who got off the ship at a stop before anybody even knew about the outbreak just showed up to a hospital in Switzerland and tested positive. His wife is now in self-isolation, and they are now tracing back every single person that this guy may have been in contact with. 3 more people were just airlifted off the ship today and are now being transferred to hospitals across Europe. The total number of cases is now officially at 8, and 149 people are still on board and have nowhere to go. In my update yesterday, Spain actually just told the Canary Islands to take the ship in, but the president of the Canary Islands just went public and said absolutely not, we do not know what we're dealing with. So the one place that was supposed to take the ship in just basically went back and said no too. I'm watching this entire story and I will obviously keep you updated.
So this is it. Now, if nothing comes of this virus, it definitely is what they were covering up. If we get locked down, I will have some questions. But for right now, I am pretty positive that this is what they don't want people to see. When people search cruise, they're not going to get this. They're going to get the virus, and that's exactly what they wanted.
There was no virus on no damn cruise, and I can prove it to you in 3 minutes. First of all, you're telling me that 2 crazy psycho things happened at the exact same time on cruise ships, and one of them just happened to be involved with the biggest company in the entire universe? No. Then how are y'all even going to believe that one person on the whole cruise ship, you know how big a cruise ship is and how many people they have on it? Look it up. And you think the only person was some dude alone in his room? He was the only one to post a video on social media crying saying he wanted to get home? Leads me to number 3. You're telling me that they just eventually let these people dock and didn't quarantine them and just let them go free? To jump on a plane, travel, car, go home, walk around in the universe? Not knowing if this is spreading from person to person or if it was just a crazy thing that 3 people got it. No. So first of all, the virus, you can't even, it don't even make sense from the start because it can't be transferred to people. Well, then they said there was 3. So then they had to backtrack and change their lie. If it don't make sense, it ain't true. I don't care what you say. I don't care what facts you say. I don't care. There's no possible way that virus was on that cruise ship and that happened to Disney at the same exact time. You'll never convince me otherwise.
They have finally said it. The rich think that they are a protected class. Stephen Roth, who is worth $1.1 billion, just said that saying tax the rich is a racial slur and just as bad as from the river to the sea. verbatim. That's what they're saying now. They're saying they are a protected class, and saying tax the rich is basically racism. Are you kidding me?
Donald Trump is now trying to make you, me, and everybody you know pay for his ballroom. Republicans are proposing $1 billion in taxpayer money to build it. Now remember, Donald Trump told us that it was only private individuals and businesses, and even himself, funding the ballroom, but this new Republican proposal that they're trying to slide in there secretly would make us pay $1 billion for it. Senate Judiciary Chairman Chuck Grassley released this long-term immigration and Border Patrol funding bill that includes the $1 billion earmarked for security improvements accompanying the overall ballroom project, and they just slipped it in there hoping you wouldn't notice. The money is earmarked for the purposes of security adjustments and upgrades, including within the perimeter fence of the White House compound to support enhancements by the United States Secret Service, yada, yada, yada. It's a fancy way of saying the ballroom. Of course, the White House is praising this funding, saying we need it for the ballroom, and it's part of this Republican-only reconciliation bill they plan to pass this year. Donald Trump went from he's paying for the ballroom to we're paying for the ballroom. And remember, he said that programs like Medicare, Medicaid, SNAP, and more are too expensive, but the ballroom is just right.
Here's a picture. I think a lot of people haven't seen this yet. I'll give you that. I think you'll probably be able to do okay with it.
Wow. The media's gonna go crazy.
Not bad, right? Championship belt. Dana White was here last night. Did you know that? He was here last night. He loves this guy. He loves all of them. Here's another one. This is another. They're going all the way out, all online. It's all people invited. Our country is invited to this. It's free. North Korea best not make any more threats to the United States. They will be met with fire and fury like the world has never seen. He has been very threatening beyond a normal statement. And as I said, they will be met with fire, fury, and frankly, power, the likes of which this world has never seen before.
You're telling me that data center is 40,000 acres? 40,000 acres for a data center. We're literally living in the end times.
Just to better put into perspective how big this data center that was secretly approved in Utah is, well, it is 41,000 acres in size, right? Or about 62 square miles, which means this is going to be bigger than Salt Lake City, bigger than the city of San Francisco, much bigger than the city of Boston, 3 times bigger than the island of Manhattan. Okay, so if the data center was put above this entire region, it would cover this entire region. This right here is the existing NSA data center that's already in Utah. It is the NSA's largest data center in the world, right? It would be 200 times the size of this existing data center. And I just want to reiterate, right? Like this data center, the size of this data center was approved in a backdoor dealing, okay? County commissioners and county board members just approved it without a public vote and without public opinion. And when protesters showed up to protest this, rightfully so, look how large it is and how much resources it's going to suck. The county board members demeaned them, okay? Called them fake for their outrage. I think it's fair to be outraged.
I know the plan for gas. I know what they're going to do. They are going to, because they did this during COVID, they're going to put the price up so high that it's going to become like unbelievable. People are going to be like, $7? Like it's going to become like riots and stuff like that. Then they'll bring it down to like $4. Okay. And people are going to be like, oh, much better. And we'll be content in that, even though it's higher than what we're used to, because it was so high, people will be like, okay, well, that's much better, and kind of just fall back into their complacent life. That's what they always do, right? They did that during COVID. Like I said earlier, prices were high for groceries, and people were like, dude, like, this is insane. Like from before, I don't know if anyone remembers the prices before COVID. Like I'm not saying it was great, but like it wasn't as high as it was after COVID. Then they're going to bring it down a little bit, like a couple cents, and then they'll leave it at that. And that's what it's going to be. And we're going to just be content with it because, you know, we suck and we like to be in the ass with no lube or condom.
Oh my God, I want to barf so bad. I just cut into an onion and look at the shit. Oh my God. What in the actual fuck?
Like, this is the bag of onions. I just got this from Walmart, like a grocery delivery a few days ago. Like, they look alright, you know? What the fuck is this? Ew, 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 ew.
How has the ballroom gone from $400 million of private funds to now $1 billion in taxpayer funds?
Well, would you look at that? The Trump administration cut funding to a study on hantavirus, which is the same virus behind the deadly cruise ship outbreak that everybody's talking about right now. Because, of course, they did. In 2025, the Trump admin eliminated funding for a group that had been running a pilot project aimed at studying the type of hantavirus that has been confirmed to be behind an ongoing outbreak on this cruise ship. There have already been 3 confirmed deaths, and the virus has potentially spread beyond the ship because there were passengers who disembarked in different countries during the voyage. The pilot project was designed to better understand how hantavirus passes from rodents to humans and was being conducted through the West African Center for Emerging Infectious Diseases. It was one of 10 centers that Donald Trump shut down last year. This is what happens when you cut funding for research, cut funding for science, and instead build a ballroom or give money to your wealthy donors. This is exactly what happens. I really mean this. Everything good falls apart with this administration. Everything they touch gets ruined. And it is just such a shame because now we are here.
Where's the rest of the money coming from?
I don't understand your question.
You may have heard GameStop is trying to buy eBay for $55.5 billion, but if you add up all their cash and stock, they're still $16 billion short. GameStop's CEO was confronted about this shortfall in an interview with CNBC, and the response was, well, you gotta see it.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
I hear you. I understand that. I'm just trying to understand where the rest of the money would come from.
It's half cash, half stock.
I hear you. I'm just saying that math doesn't get you to the price that you're offering.
So,
Brian, that's a pretty straightforward question. I don't get it. Like, where's the rest of the money coming from? Andrew laid it out pretty clearly.
I don't understand your question. We're offering half cash, half stock, and we have the ability to issue stock in order to get the deal done. But the full details of the offer are on our website.
But you're on our air. We thought we'd get...
So, but I don't understand your question.
What's up, America? Walmart digital price tag update. So Walmart has announced by the end of this year, 2026, all 4,500 Walmarts will be shifting over to digital price tags. And that also means that Walmart will be involved in surge pricing, and more stores are starting to do this. So if you're unaware, digital price tags allow Walmart and other companies to slightly raise and lower prices depending on when you're shopping. When there's a lot of people in the store, they will slightly raise prices, and when there's nobody there, they'll drop them back to normal again. This is being done in order to maximize profit, because even a couple of cents here and there across the board with millions of people means lots of money. But with these digital price tags, they've also announced facial recognition technology to watch your face, and also emotional recognition technology. Yes, that is correct. Emotional recognition technology. So for instance, if you go down the cereal aisle and your kids start jumping and are super happy about a specific type of cereal, Walmart will see their emotion and they'll slightly raise prices because you like it. So yes, not just digital ID, coupled with facial recognition and emotional recognition. That's where Walmart is headed. But don't worry, it'll be all stores coming up.
I literally witnessed this brand and all these other 10 snack size bars change from $2.50 to $3.16. It started glitching, and I thought, what in the world? Because I had noticed that it was $2.50 when I come down this aisle. And next thing I know, it says $3.16, and I see this one glitching, and I see this one glitching. And I knew that it was $2.50, and now it is $3.16. I literally witnessed that. Walmart, you suck.
Oh my, Mexico. Okay, so not only are they banning cash January of next year in 2027, but now they're saying in June of this year, which is in 2 months, that all 127 million phone users will have to register all their numbers into a biometric data. So that will include fingerprints, iris scans, and facial recognition. And if you just don't want to do that, well, you'll just be cut from cell service. And this will include all prepaid phones as well, or the Amigo lines, all of it. All of it. The push is here, the digital ID, the digital, everything is here. But we're right behind. Everyone will be following right behind you guys. Remember, mandates don't mean anything if you say no.
The virus is already in the United States, folks. According to numerous articles and sources, 23 people were able to disembark that ship on April 23rd, going to numerous different countries like the United States, Taiwan, and, quote, all corners of the world, potentially spreading this virus. Remember, it has an 8-week incubation period. These people had no idea they were exposed to this virus, but nonetheless, they were able to get off that ship and go to God knows where, all across the world. They're tracking them as we speak, but that's going to be extremely difficult. But please, for the love of God, practice what we did during COVID. 6 feet apart, wear a mask, wash your hands, hand sanitizer at all times. Fortunately, this virus, the person-to-person strain, known as the Andes strain, doesn't spread as easily as like the flu or COVID. But regardless, its mortality rate is 40% on average, up to 55 to 60% in people who are autoimmune compromised or have pre-existing conditions. This virus affects the lungs and kidneys. So please, again, practice social distancing like we did. I know it sounds silly to some of you, but that shit did work.
Do you want to know what space is? Be honest with you? Space is the ocean. There's no way in fucking Earth that you're gonna tell me that you traveled 93 million miles away and you can't get to the bottom of the ocean. That makes no sense, bro. Like, come on, man.
There's a reason why they
like,
stopped
listen, bro.
exploring
Like,
the ocean.
there's no way you can tell me that you sent telescopes to Pluto, but you can't get to the bottom of the ocean.
Sending rovers to Mars.
This man really had people thinking that he was a Christian and for the American people, but these videos say otherwise.
And I said, this is our first Jewish president. Now he's the first Jewish president to serve 2 not consecutive presidencies.
As President of the United States, I will always support Jewish Americans, and I will always be a friend and a champion to the Jewish people. We also give a very special thanks to someone who truly loves Israel. In fact, loves it so much that my daughter converted. I didn't know this was going to happen.
Excuse me while I crash out over this. Fuck it, repost this if you think that we should recreate this image, but not with bison heads, with the heads of billionaires. Fuck Buffalo Bill, I want to be billionaire Bill.
The most important thing about being a winner is staying calm, even when you're not winning. Real talk.